Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tactical Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. If this is the first time that you guys have ever watched any of my videos, this is pretty much our Sunday stock talk. We host one of these live streams once a week. Market is open Monday through Friday, so we find it effective to kind of come together as a team the day before the market opens and simply talk about the top stocks that all of you see value in. So there's nothing special about these streams other than me taking time and breaking down the stocks that you share in the ticker call out format. So I only have one request for you throughout this live stream, and that is if you want me to break down whatever stock it is that you see value in, I just want to make sure that you have a plan when it comes down to this specific stock, that it's not just a ticker symbol or anything like that. So I just want to make sure that you do your own due diligence and that I hold you accountable about that, right? Making sure that you've dedicated time to develop your own opinion and why you see value in this before I share my 2 cents about what we talked about today. So I really hope that throughout this video you guys either learn something new or take away something that gets you one step closer to having a better understanding of how the market works. I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video, and again, we're always open to suggestions, so feel free to direct message me on Discord or on Instagram with any further questions. So let's go ahead and get started. So for all those that are going to be asking, the platform that I am using, it is the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. You can Google it, you can YouTube it. It's the platform that I use. It's not one that you have to use. There's so many different and amazing platforms out there. Please just dedicate time to learn more about them and to see if it meets all of your needs. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, Nicholas? Hopefully you guys all had an amazing weekend. Here we go. There we go. What's going on, Christopher? So we got ENPH. Let's go ahead and just get started. So ENPH, I'm going to be breaking the top 10 stocks that you guys share that I see in the ticker call out format. So again, I want to make sure that you guys understand that whatever I talk about in this video is simply based off of my opinion and based off of my experience, and I want to explain my thought process on maybe why or why not I see value in something, right? Overall, ENPH, I have three very little simple things that I like to focus on. That's direction, the overall opportunity cost, and then overall confirmation. So I like that it was showing signs of growth. So again, I'm on the 180-day 4-hour chart. It was showing signs of consistent growth, consistent uptrend. Once it pulled back, and I would say that this has to do with the overall just market condition, broke below, and this is something that we've seen a lot for the past 2 to 3 months, where there's been patterns that have been consistently uptrending. They pull back, they break below the SMA line, and they almost begin to change overall direction. This is where you begin to see a lot of inconsistencies. So at the end of the day, just to keep it simple, this should just empower you to be more selective, right? So I like that it was an overall uptrend. It broke below this SMA line, which is this green line. Google it, YouTube it if you want to learn more about it. But overall, it broke below it, it pushed up, and the SMA line used to act as a support, and a very common pattern that you tend to see is old support levels can become new resistance levels. So looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, and looking at how things are going right now and how it's kind of consolidating, it would actually make sense, right, on the technical side on why this thing can potentially begin to sell off and pull back. Because again, this overall SMA line and this series of different indicators. I like to use these different indicators as a reference. It's never going to be a reason on why I take a trade, as again, confirmation is always the most important part. So one of the things that I'll do here is if you think that it's going to continue to uptrend, then one thing that I would look for, right, is that it used to trade above this SMA line, and we're so close to the resistance right here that I think that it would just be worth the time and the effort to simply give it a little bit more time to break above the SMA line and continue that uptrend pattern. It's a very little simple thing and step that you can take that can make you feel that much more comfortable and confident with that trade. So let's go ahead, and again, if you guys are asking how to post in the ticker call out format, we have Ismail that's sharing it right here, so you guys can just take some time and put your whole trade plan together. Okay, RKDA, here it goes. Okay, so overall, very low volume. Looks like it went through a nice little pump. I don't like to trade pump and dumps. I just don't like to take part of it. I think that there's a lot of manipulation, and I think that for anyone that's just getting started with with this form of manipulation, it makes it much more difficult to understand when things are kind of going in your favor or against your favor, and overall the volatility might be a little too aggressive. So because of this, just to keep it super short and sweet, just because I don't see value in it doesn't mean that you shouldn't either. I just want to point out why I don't. I think it's worth at least for me to share that, right? So I don't see value in RKDA because I could see that it's been manipulated, right? With the volume that we see now and what it had before. It was a consistent downtrend pattern, and then looks like it's been pumped, and it's been selling off ever since. Now it's showing signs of a downtrend pattern, and again, to keep things super simple, if you want to grow your account consistently, you need to understand kind of like what you're doing and the direction of the way that things is heading, right? The way things are heading right now for RKDA aren't looking very promising. It's simply showing signs of a consistent downtrend, meaning that like if I invest in it, that it's most likely going to continue to sell off if and only if, right, this pattern continues. So because of that, I would simply step away. Of course, anything can happen at the end of the day, but overall, it just would make more sense for me to potentially step away from this and not take that trade. So let's go ahead and no sign of an uptrend, 100%. So here we go. Roku. We've been getting a lot of talk about Roku just due to the very aggressive sell-off that it had on Friday. So that was really unfortunate. Lost 20%, nearly 20% all on Friday. And I would just dedicate time. So again, I'm just going over on the technical side on why it sold off. There's a fundamental reason on why it aggressively sold off. So if I were you and you wanted to maybe learn a little bit more about Roku and to see if it's a trade that you want to take, what's one simple thing that you can do to better inform yourself? Literally just take time to learn more about what negative catalyst or news was released that dropped the price. And yeah, you'll hear other people share their opinion, and I think it's great to have an open mind. But at the end of the day, make sure that you dedicated your own time and you've done your own due diligence to have a better understanding of what exactly is going on and to see if it could recover from this, right? Overall, I do see this to be a consistent uptrend pattern. Peaked out, aggressively sold off. So the reason that this thing is pointed out right now, and I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it, is because of the aggressive sell-off that it had, and it makes sense on why it can potentially try to recover. Overall, it's an aggressive descending pattern. Yes, it sold off a lot on Friday. Doesn't mean that it can't continue to sell off. No, of course, anything can happen, especially with this market. So all I want to remind you to do or empower you to do is to not always just try to find the bottom or the lowest price on a trade. I sometimes find myself when people are always hunting for the lowest price point, they end up just continuing to average down. And in my experience, that was not the best step that I could have taken, right? So because of that, what's one little simple thing that you can do if you think that it's going to reverse back up? It's inform yourself a little bit more of what caused it to sell off, and once and if and only if it begins to indicate signs of a reversal, even if it's on the day, right, trading between the middle and top VWAP showing signs of an uptrend, then again, it makes sense because the overall direction is in your favor. Until then, I wouldn't really touch it. I'm just going to set my alerts just for the sake of it, and just to have, set reminders on when this thing is beginning to either show signs of a reversal and then picking and recovering, or continuing to sell off. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. What's going on, Evan? Appreciate you tuning in. SPY. This one was also another very popular one just due to the overall market condition, right? So this is the S&P 500 future, right? So overall, this isn't the future, this is the ETF, but this correlates on over to /ES, which offers a very similar pattern. So one of the things that I just want to break down for you is, have you realized that looking at this, I don't think, right, just based off of previous patterns, it takes a lot to understand that, the overall SPY, the overall market, is not a good deal right now. It's definitely overbought, and it's kind of been hitting this same resistance. It doesn't mean that it can't continue to go up, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. Like, anything can happen. It could 100% continue to uptrend. All I'm saying is, based off of previous patterns for the past 3 to 4 months, it's been really struggling to continue to show signs of an uptrend, and it's had a very present resistance right around this channel area. So because of that, all I'm saying is, if you're a deal hunter, right, with that simple understanding and that simple focus, would it make more sense for you to wait for this thing to present a greater opportunity, or would you rather go in now and hope that it continues to uptrend? Just a question to ask yourself. Again, I'm not saying that it's a good or a bad trade. All I'm saying is look at previous price points, not even previous patterns, something like that. Just look at previous price points, and is it a good deal, right? You're an investor, you might be a trader, whatever it is. Whatever your approach is, just make sure that the trade is worth your time and your effort. That's all. Even if it does go up 1 or 2%, that's besides the point. It's you just want to set yourself up for success. So if you end up winning, then great. It made sense, and you're at least taking positions that make sense, not just hoping for the best. And I think that that's a distinct difference between traders who understand what it is that they're doing and those traders that are somewhat hopeful. So it would be a very similar breakdown for SPY. Yeah, it has been consolidating here for some time. I do see there to be potential just based off previous patterns for this thing to begin to sell off, which does mean that the overall market could potentially continue to sell off. But as of now, with all the news that we've been getting kind of back and forth with the trade wars, I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty. Don't really know which direction the market is going. And because of that, I wouldn't want to hold and hope, right, and be a hopeful trader. So as of right now, market's overbought, it's overextended, it's not a good deal. Can it continue to uptrend? Of course, anything can happen. Will it? I don't know. As of right now, it just looks overextended, and because of that, I'd rather not touch it. So just wanted to share my opinion with you guys. So am I talking a little bit too softly? Let's see. Okay. It sounds like everything looks okay. I didn't think I was speaking too quietly, but just let me know, right? Here we go. Overall, Lulu, what's going on, Ben? Volume is good for you. Sweet. What's going on, Drew Fit? Hope you had an amazing weekend. Here we go. So what do you guys think about Lululemon? Overall, very consistent uptrend pattern. Overall, SMA line continuously showing signs of an uptrend right now. Easiest way for me to put it, it's selling off. Can it find a support here? Of course. I'm a huge believer on, the overall direction to be in your favor, so waiting for that price action to follow. So yeah, it is selling off. Looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, based off of previous patterns, it doesn't look like a bad deal. Now you just want to set yourself up for success, right? So therefore, we want to wait for some form of indication of a support where there's 3 stages of a reversal: rejection, consolidation, and then confirmation, when that actually begins to show signs of an uptrend. There's a moth in my room. I just realized that's a little weird. But just as much as it could reverse and find a support, it could still continue to sell off. So because of that, I'm going to set my alert for the break below around 185. So if it does continue to sell off, then again, think about it this way. The more patient you are with your entry point, the more margin of profit that, if you're so certain that it's bound to recover, the more margin of profit that you build for yourself when it actually does recover. So the more patient that you are and the more that it sells off, think about it this way. It's literally the more margin of potential recovery that you kind of set yourself up for. So a little low. Okay. I'll try to speak up a little bit more. I apologize. Here we go. What's going on, Amir? So we got ticker symbol WM. So I think that's waste management, right? Here we go. There it goes. Okay. And this is, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been seeing this pattern happen very often, where there's a very consistent uptrend pattern, but due to overall market conditions and overall volatility, there's been a lot of break-of patterns where you see this 180-day uptrend pattern. In the past month or 2 months, it's been broken. It breaks that support, and then now we're trading below the SMA line. So just like I said if I'm not mistaken, I think it was ENPH or something like that, where let me double check. Yeah. Where it was showing signs of an uptrend, right now I would say that it's closer to the resistance than I think that it is at a support. I think that because of the MACD, the RSI, and based off of previous patterns, this old support level is most likely going to act as a resistance level. So because of that, I'll set my alert there, but I actually think that it, is most likely going to begin to pull back. But again, we never know until we wait for confirmation. So if it does make higher highs, set your alert and, follow up with it. If it begins to sell off, then guess what? No harm, no foul. You waited to see what happened. And I think, patience goes a long way. If there's anything that you kind of learned from our videos, I really hope that it's, the importance of patience and feeling comfortable with what you're doing and risk management. I think that with those 2 qualities, you can definitely get one step closer to, being able to become part of that 5%, right? That can consistently grow their account. So here it goes. What are your views on Robinhood? I'll answer some more open-ended questions after, But I don't use Robinhood. I think that it might be good for someone that doesn't necessarily day trade. You don't have to pay commissions, but I think that comes at its own price. They don't really have a customer support department. I would say their execution when it comes down to your entries and your exits are not as efficient. It's just not as an advanced platform. But again, it's free. So, you know, with that general understanding of, not wanting to pay for commission, I can 100% see why it could be very attractive for some people. But again, that's just my opinion. If you're interested in Robinhood, then why not just dedicate time and learn more about the platform and to see if it's a good fit for you. People are so opinionated, especially like on YouTube, and again, it makes sense, right? But at the end of the day, like, don't let other people's like experience just be the sole reason that you choose to do something. I'm a huge believer that the more you inform yourself, the better off you can be, and that's what we're here to empower you to do. To like, yeah, if you're intrigued by it, learn a little bit more about it and see if it is a good fit for you. That's simple. But yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. So ticker symbol Evan is DGAS. I don't really like talking about these during the Sunday Stock Talk since I talk about them pretty much all week. But it's been pretty interesting just because DGAS had a very successful week last week, which kind of came at a surprise because /NQ, which is the overall /NG, which is the overall future for natural gas, sold off quite a bit after a very consistent uptrend pattern. So look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It definitely makes sense on why it can try to find a support and then begin to push up. And you already see all my alerts on the right-hand side where I do expect there to be a potential support. But again, I'm literally taking the market day by day. So I would have a huge focus. I like paying attention to the overall future and seeing the direction that it's heading during pre-market hours. So I'll normally wake up a little bit before I begin to trade live with the Learn Plan Profit team. And I'll try to have a better understanding of what's pushing up and what's pushing down. And my go-tos are /NG to have a better understanding of, is DGAS pushing up or is UGAS pushing up, which is the inverse ETF. But yeah, I appreciate you asking. Yeah. Oh, Christopher. Yeah, appreciate it. I have like 2 or 3 videos on YouTube about my TD Ameritrade setup and the different color scheme that I have set up and all that stuff. So, hey Ricky, are you planning to ever short stocks, especially with a possible recession coming soon? Christian, that's a good question. It's never been a huge focus of mine, even when the market is selling off. I've still been able to do very well. I have a huge focus on commodities, and I still trade maybe the ETFs or ETNs that go against the market, so I don't necessarily need to short because of where my attention is focused. Do I think it's worth learning more about to maybe prepare yourself? Of course, it's just not something that I do, so it wouldn't be something that I would be able to assist you with. But I think, again, I'm here to empower you to, I trade ETFs. It doesn't mean that it's the best for everyone. I know that it comes at a risk, but some people resonate really well with it, and some people, work well with options or, lower cap stocks or swing trading or just investing in general. I think the beautiful part about the stock market is like there's so many different niches that you can excel in. You don't, just because something works well for someone else doesn't mean that it's going to work well for you. So be empowered to be self-sufficient, be empowered to be a problem solver, and be empowered to, find your own way and method of figuring things out, right? And doing well here. So here we go. Let's see. All right, OSTK. So I believe that's overstock.com, right? There we go. Overstock.com. So we have, how many have we broken down? Okay, we're at 8. Wow, I actually really like this one. I think this one has to be my overall favorite from the ones that have been shared so far. So what's going on, Ryan? What's up? Appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I know that you guys could be doing something much more fun on your fine Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. So I appreciate you taking time and tuning in, watching this video, and hopefully I earn your thumbs up. But yeah, I'm here to assist you in any questions you might have. So here it goes. So it looks like it's trying to find a potential support based off previous patterns here and here. It makes sense on why it could bounce here because it has before. But again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. But what? They don't have to, right? So with that simple little idea, right? The MACD or the RSI, everything looks good, but the price action is not following yet. So because of that, I would set my alerts. I do see the opportunity cost, the margin of profit, and all that to be worth it. but again, you have no confirmation of an overall trend. I would be very Weston, who's our mentor and partner for Flipping Wheels. He's been getting more into swing trading, and I can definitely see why this one would be something that might meet his criteria. So I'm probably gonna show him OSTK and maybe see what he thinks about it. But I really do appreciate you sharing this one with me. Are you a sports fan, Ricky? No, not a huge focus of mine, but I played baseball for 7 years when I was a little younger, but it was because my parents made me. So, yeah. Let's see. Ricky is a fun guy. All right. Apple. What's going on, Rich? Let's check that out. I wanna see how Apple's doing today, or the last week. Okay, so the overall market pulled back to make sense on why it pulled back. I think it still has more margin for it to sell off. I would like it to, especially with more news is probably going to come out about how Apple and the iPhone 11, right? I think that was just released with like the 10 cameras. Or 10 lenses. I'm totally kidding. It's 3. It's cool lenses, right? I think it looks pretty unique. But I'm gonna set my alerts here. I think that the more you wait and the more it sells off, the more margin of profit you build for yourself as and if it recovers, right? So because of that, we'll just try to set ourselves up for success and allow that opportunity to present itself. So I think that would be pretty sweet. What's going on, Rob? Appreciate you tuning in. LK. Looks like I got kind of mixed in there together. So I'm going to do this one and about 2 more. So I appreciate your guys' patience. Overall, it was an uptrend. Looks like it broke below the SMA line. But one thing that I find attractive about this, it's almost like this upward staircase pattern, right? Where it continues to make higher highs. So regardless of the SMA line, I would still be wary of that. The MACD and the RSI look like it's trying to reverse. Margin of profit, I would ask yourself if you think that's worth it. And set your alerts, right? We'll set the alerts down here and then simply follow up with it. So significant price points here. I want to see if it does continue this upward staircase pattern where it continues to make higher highs. So based off of previous highs, it looks like the previous resistance was right around this general area. So even if you do wait for full on confirmation and you only average up right from 22 to even if it comes out to be perfect at $23, that's about 4.3% realistically. Let's say you catch half of that, that's about 2%. So asking yourself, hey, do you see value in the pattern? Do you see value in the overall direction? Is the reward worth the risk, right? Taking that risk/reward ratio into consideration. And what do you feel comfortable, right? Holding this specific stock itself. Just a series of questions that you might want to ask yourself, right? Let's see. What's going on, Marcos? Or Marcus? Oh, okay, Shop. Very popular one, right? So Shopify. Overall, again, very similar pattern, consistent uptrend pattern, pulls back, broke below the SMA line, and again, then begins to sell off. Like I've said, we've seen a lot of this happen, especially for huge, multi-billion-dollar corporations such as Shopify. But it's been selling off. I really do like, for what it's worth, I really do like Shopify. I think it has potential to continue to do well. But I would look a little bit more into why it's been consistently selling off. There has to, because it's not just flowing with the market. So if you see, the market's been all over the place, but Shop has had a very consistent uptrend pattern. So one of the things that I think about is, okay, what's changed in the past, month that ultimately made it, peak and then change overall direction. So I think if you're really into Shopify and you see value in its overall potential, why not dedicate a little bit more time and learning more about what's been causing it to sell off? So looking more into the fundamentals, I think the more you know, the better off you can do. And again, it's not trading based off of other people's opinion. I never think that is a good approach, but it's taking little simple steps to inform yourself, right? Let's see. All right. Alex, are you saying ticker symbol GC or /GC or? Oh, okay. Wait, let me know what you. Let's see, I can't see any of your guys' stuff. Oh, okay. What's going on? Okay, so we have a lot of people asking about gold, right? Okay. You guys want to end it with that? Ricky, sorry, but just let's see. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's been the most common thing. So we'll end it with, just because of the overall market uncertainty. Last week, you guys should understand this correlation, and if you guys don't, just take the very simple idea that we're sharing it and learn more about it. But it's no question, right, when the overall market doesn't do well, that gold, viewed as our old support, right, is what uptrends and pushes up when the overall market begins to pull back. So because of all the negative news last week, gold was absolutely just killing it this week. And the question comes about of like, where's the market heading, right? Is it going to continue to sell off? And if so, then that most likely means that gold will most likely continue to uptrend as the market overall, still continues to sell off. So that's definitely a question that I would, kind of like ponder on a little bit more, and begin to inform yourself about like what's some up and coming news that can have a positive or negative impact on the overall market, and how can gold be influenced by that, right? So if we continue to push back the trade wars, then again, that is in favor of gold, right? Because that's negative news towards the overall market. Or if they begin to come with a resolution, then again, that's not in favor of gold and more in favor of the market. So I think as you understand how news influences the overall market, and then how the series of different commodities are then influenced by the market of what goes up and what goes down, it's definitely worth learning more about. I still think it's, especially with the market being so inconsistent, I would definitely say that patience goes a long way, right? And if you're uncomfortable, or you don't feel certain about a specific trade, and holding it overnight, that's one of the biggest focuses that a lot of people have been asking with the market uncertainty. Just don't put yourself in a position that you don't feel comfortable in. It's that simple. It's like you have nothing but time to make money, right? You have nothing but time to grow your account. As of right now, we can all agree that the dollar amount that you're trading with is not what you could be trading with down the road. So do yourself a favor and set yourself up for success. Don't put yourself in a bad situation that you are unfamiliar with, and just take time to inform yourself if you're comfortable with what you're doing, and learn at your own pace. You're supposed to enjoy this process, right, of learning about a new market if you're actually interested in it. I can almost reassure you that if you're approaching this market, at least in my experience, it took years, right, for me to be able to understand what it is that I do now. And that's why I had a normal job at the time. But I was able to, provide for myself through my normal job while I was learning more about it. And it looks like actually gold is still pushing up. So based off of where gold is at right now, I would say that, yeah, it's most likely going to be in favor of JNEG if it holds at where it's at right now. And I would just keep a very close eye on /GC, or whatever the ticker symbol is for the future on whatever platform it is that you use. But I'm going to pretty much be leaving it at that. So you still gotta risk it to an extent, right? There's a difference from hopeful, trades and calculated risk. I think that's definitely something that people are so eager or so willing to just go all in. And I don't know, that's just never been my approach. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's like, whatever you feel comfortable with, and whatever is not going to discourage you. Because again, if the market was that simple and that easy, then everyone would be successful, in it. So take time, enjoy the process, and just know that you're not here to beat anyone, or outdo anyone. It's just be your own person, be willing to find your own niche within the market, and enjoy the process. Surround yourself with positive people that uplift you and make you feel like you're doing something, that you're always getting one step closer to whatever your goal is. And I think with that, the overall idea of enjoying life can be that much more realistic. So, all right. But yeah, I wanted to keep things pretty simple today for our Sunday stock talk. We're right around that 30-minute mark. I'm really excited to trade with the Learn Plan Profit team tomorrow at market open. Last week was a very slow week for me as a whole. And I'm excited to kind of see where the market heads in the morning, and kind of stepping up to the plate as a day trader every morning, and seeing what the market throws at me, and to see if, with my ability to identify patterns, with my ability to wait for confirmation and test my patience, and with my ability to manage my risk, all things that I'm going to be tested on every single day. And I think that's one of the things people always ask me, like, how do I stay so, I don't want to say motivated, but like, how do I do the same thing day after day? And it's just, I really do enjoy the challenge that the stock market throws at me every day. It's that simple. I like being challenged, and to me, the market is very challenging. But I think that we can all agree that nothing worth having should come easy, right? So it takes time, it takes hard work, it takes sacrifice, and slowly but surely, it will begin to make more sense if this is your calling. As of now, I would just say empower yourself to surround yourself with people that push you to be the best person that you can be, and enjoy the process. So really do appreciate your guys' time. I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. Don't forget to join our free Facebook group. That should be that first link down below. If you guys don't see the link, refresh it. I also put my phone number down there, so if you guys have any trading related questions when it comes down to getting connected, feel free to shoot me a text and we can kind of go from there. But /GC, just since I don't know if you guys can see this right now, but this thing is shooting up. So we'll definitely have to see what is going on or what is being shared. Let's see, to see why this thing is causing such a push. But yeah, definitely excited for the overall week. So I hope that you guys are as well. And like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Let's stay connected. All my links are down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you think I earned it, right? And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.